let me briefly summarize, who we are, and possibly, take only 10 minutes to keep more time for the Q&A. C4B is based out of New York, and we are primarily a lithium battery technology company. And our goal is to really drive the future of manufacturing. We ourselves are not really a manufacturer. Our overall business model is to joint venture in countries where there is no ecosystem or no manufacturing, particularly cell manufacturing happening today. I hope my voice is clear. I'm having some challenges with my microphone this morning.
Fine.
But okay, great. So as a company, we started back in 2011, filed our first patent in 2012. And fast forward, one of our subsidiaries, or call it sister company here in New York, IM3NY, is about to produce and become the third largest factory in the US, where we have done a few acquisitions. But on the product side, which is a new technology that we are bringing, which will sit between LFP and NMC in energy density, about 15 to 18% higher energy density than lithium iron phosphate, and 10 to 12% lower than NMC. However, not having any cobalt and nickel allow us to really drive the cost down aggressively. Probably I would say lower than both of them. With that, our goal, as I mentioned earlier, is to really set up the entire ecosystem. So we as a company believe in industrial cluster and driving the cost down end to end, all the way from mining to end product and recycling. So as a technology partner in that process, our goal is to really bring extensive joint ventures and partnerships as time pass by in setting up the whole ecosystem. So that's the overall criteria for us, and we go into markets that has no supply chain available today, and challenge is always chicken and egg, whether the market evolves first or cell manufacturing happen first. So right now, obviously, we are very much focused on the Indian market, and the whole team is very much excited about it because we believe we are at the cusp of that transition that is happening globally, but happening quite fast. And there are certain segments in India that will hopefully allow us to penetrate that market really, in a smooth way. I mean, smooth is probably never smooth, but relatively smoother. So with that, I will skip some of the slides here. The goal for us, as you can see, US, we call it unattended market or ignored market as well. In America, there is no domestic cell manufacturer that is available today. There's Tesla, which is primarily Panasonic, and LG Chem. So we have been working on this for last 10 plus years, and have built the whole supply chain from scratch. And that's the learning that I would say is going to be critical for us to kind of duplicate and establish something similar in India as well. Looking at the chemistry, this is just an overview. As you can see, the comparison we have done with 4 chemistries, but primarily, let's say, bottom 2 chemistries, NMC and LFP. I have highlighted BMLMP, which is our chemistry that has already been commercialized, used in commercial applications as we speak today. Certain benefits, and it's more of a, call it elder brother of LFP. We have many benefits of LFP, like safety, cost, but it has higher energy density and higher power density, and a little bit higher cycle life as well in terms of charge discharge cycle. I've given some comparison at the cell level as well as pack level on the right hand side, how it translates at the system level primarily. But as you can see, we believe, for the Indian market, where price is going to be one of the very critical criteria for end users. End users for us are OEMs like bus, truck manufacturers or car manufacturers, two-wheeler, three-wheeler, grid. All those markets, our chemistry brings a perfect blend of 2 chemistries, NMC and LFP, and really meet the price targets that the industry looking at. We just saw in the earlier conversation, there was a slide about international price and then India price. We realized that it's a higher initially, obviously going through the learning curve. But our goal as a company is to really get the cost in double digit pack level by 2025, even at the 2 to 3 gigawatt and definitely 5 gigawatt hour scale. So that's our goal, and I think we have everything we need to achieve that. Here is a quick comparison. We also are able to fine tune the chemistry for fast charge. There's a safety, power, cost comparison with two other players, but primarily two other chemistries, which is LFP for CATL. For this example, obviously, they also do an NMC, and Tesla and NCA chemistry. So we also believe the fast charging to some extent in certain markets going to play a critical role. And that's something we can deliver, and not having oxide matrix allow us to really build a battery that is uh, quite susceptible to heat. That's going to be one of the critical parameter in the Indian context, where temperatures in summer could go up to 50 degrees centigrade. As a company, really our goal is to drive this growth in emerging markets. So we believe we would be able to target at least and be part of 10 gigafactories by 2030. And our goal is to achieve minimum 100 gigawatt hour with this chemistry. To understand C4, we primarily, sitting at the center of the triangle, and one corner is the supply chain, the other is the end user, and the third is the gigafactory. And we kind of orchestrate various activities between these. Supply chain for us is not just the raw material alone, which we have about 60 plus suppliers qualified today. It takes us 18 months to 24 months to qualify one single component. So having a very qualified, and for last 3 years, we have been working with various suppliers from India as well, that include, cathode, not cathode, sorry, anode and some of the other, components, including electrolyte. So we ourselves going to bring our separator and the cathode manufacturer with us to Indian market. So we are aiming that 60% will be achievable for us even day one in the Indian context. So our first, which we are aiming for with about 1 gigawatt hour line, that itself will achieve a 60% minimum local content raw material side. Obviously, that it can be calculated in various ways, as Dave previously, I think, explained. But for us, I think one of the key here is that, and the other aspect is a lot of our raw material for cathode also are available. Not having cobalt nickel allow us to really have some local sourcing, and we have been working with a few mining companies already to really get some of the raw material, Indian raw material, qualified for our cathode manufacturing as well. With that, here is the quick map of how we see the overall raw material supply chain. All the way left-hand side, mining, or whether it's a let's say refined byproduct from petroleum that goes into anode and various other components like separator, polypropylene, polyethylene, to refined components, and then cathode, anode, and other cell components. So there are 20 components used in a cell. So having the tight supply chain and precision and quality is very, very important. And we go there and we look into how these can be recycled. Today, we are working with at least 3 recycling companies. A lot of waste also generated at the plant level, and feeding it back in the supply chain also going to help us secure, overall needs in long run, and also build a kind of a circular economy. So we have very strong partnerships to demonstrate this. And the end user side, obviously, various different markets in India, but we as a technology company, we're working in EV, stationary, industrial. Industrial for us is, mining machinery, forklifts, all the robotics used in data distribution centers, etc., and the electric aviation with some of our next generation product. At this stage, obviously the prices given here are the sales prices, but we are also working on different generations of products. And the way we want to design facilities and our our, let's say capex investment in a factory is very agnostic to these three generations of products. So what that would mean is our solid state technology be able to integrate it in the same factory, so that we kind of future proofing the investment that are very heavy otherwise, 100 to 200 million dollar per gigawatt hour depending upon the scale. This brings a lot of security to investors, how the transition will be able to adopt it in these factories. So I mean, with that, here is the quick example how our different generations will be able to target various end markets. And we are aiming that in India, at least the first two, which is the clean energy, solar, wind, and the EVs, going to give us good traction, and so is the industrial side of it. And currently, we are working US, Australia. We have MOU signed in Saudi, and there are plans for 7+ countries in next 10 years, as I indicated. We're hoping that this would eventually lead to a kind of one ecosystem in India as well. I'll skip some slides. But overall, as you can see, we are adding value in the value chain by bringing various our stakeholders, partners, investors together to really set up the ecosystem end to end, and not just talk about the cell manufacturing, which is obviously right now the primary, I think, focus for the government. But we strongly believe it has to go end to end. Otherwise, there will be a lot of dependency. Today dependency is on cell, and eventually it will be on cathode or the raw materials. So having that dots, having those dots connected end to end, going to give us some edge over competitors and companies who primarily don't understand, let's say, Indian market. So I think that's it about C4B. I will be happy to take some of your questions, and here are our coordinates if anyone want to reach us.